Welcome to a new episode from English Plus Podcast. In today's episode, we're going to learn about Prometheus and Epimetheus, and it's a word power episode, so we're going to learn 10 new words. The words are befall, bestow, confer, consolation, delegate, excessive, expulsion, forethought, maneuver, and retaliate. So without further ado, let's start talking about our story first, Prometheus and Epimetheus, and then we will talk about the words and we will discuss the meanings in context. So let's start with Prometheus and Epimetheus. Zeus, the supreme ruler of the universe, with the aid of the giant Hercules and other gods, had rid the earth of the Titans and the giants. The expulsion of these brutal creatures ensured that humans could now feel safe on Earth. The creation of humankind was at hand. Zeus, grateful for Prometheus' assistance in the war with the Titans, delegated the job of creating man to him and his brother Epimetheus. Prometheus was very wise and gave much forethought to this task. Epimetheus, on the other hand, was not especially wise and tended to act without thinking. So it was little wonder that Epimetheus thoughtlessly gave all the best gifts to the animals. He made them strong, fast, brave, and clever. He also conferred upon the animals fur, feathers, and shells. As a result, no great gifts remained to bestow on humans. Without strength, bravery, cleverness, and a warm protective coat, how could humans be protected from the animals? Epimetheus sought out his brother Prometheus for help. Prometheus thought about the problem that Epimetheus had so recklessly caused and decided to grant man a splendid shape, allowing them to stand erect like the gods. Then he brought fire down from the heavens and gave it to man. Fire was a far superior defense than anything given to the animals. Zeus felt that Prometheus had been excessively generous to man in giving him fire. In addition, Zeus was angered that Prometheus had arranged by trickery for man to get the best portion of sacrificed animals while the gods got the worst parts. Zeus retaliated against this maneuver by creating Pandora, the first woman. She was beautiful, shy, and tempting to men and gods alike. Zeus made a box for Pandora which held all the evils that could befall humans. In her curiosity, Pandora one day opened the box. Out came horrors that brought misery and calamity to humans. However, one good thing had been put in the box and was also released. That wondrous thing was hope. Still today, hope remains humans' consolation amidst all the sufferings they must endure. So that was our story about Prometheus and Epimetheus. I hope you found it interesting. There is a special charm about these stories from myths and legends that never grows old. But let's remember why we're here in the first place. Today's episode is not to talk about myths and legends. As you know, we have a special episode to talk about myths and legends. And by the way, this week is going to be animals in mythology. But let's focus on what we have today. We have 10 words from the story that we want to focus on and learn. Let's start with the very first word, expulsion. E-X-P-U-L-S-I-O-N. Now, we said the expulsion of these brutal creatures ensured that humans could now feel safe on Earth. What is the meaning of expulsion? Expulsion is when someone is forced to leave a place. So, expulsion of these brutal creatures, these creatures were forced to leave Earth, and so Earth became a safe place for humans. And now for the next word, delegate. Now, we said Zeus was grateful for Prometheus' assistance in the war with the Titans, so he delegated the job of creating man to Prometheus. What is the meaning of delegate? D-E-L-E-G-A-T-E, delegate. If you delegate duties, responsibilities, or power to someone, you give them those duties, those responsibilities, or that power so that they can act on your behalf. So Prometheus was creating man on behalf of Zeus instead of Zeus because Zeus delegated this job to him. And we continued talking about Prometheus, and we said he was wise and gave much forethought to this task. And that is our next word, forethought, F-O-R-E-T-H-O-U-G-H-T. What is the meaning of forethought? If you act with forethought, You think carefully before you act about what will be needed or about what the consequences will be. So simply, you act wisely. That is, when you act with forethought. And that was not exactly the case with Epimetheus. Epimetheus gave everything to animals and gave nothing to humans. And when we talked about that, we said Epimetheus also conferred upon the animals fur, feathers, and shells. Now, confer has a common meaning, and that has to do with discussions. When you discuss something with someone to get to a decision, that is confer, obviously, and that is the common meaning, but confer can be used in another meaning. But first, how do we spell it? It's confer. And if we want to use it like we used it in the story with ed, we double the r at the end and we add ed. Conferred. Conferred. But the verb is confer. Now, to confer something such as power or an honor on someone means to give it to them. So obviously here, he conferred upon the animals fur, feathers, and shells. That means he gave animals fur, feathers, and shells. And the next word is close to this one, and that is bestow, Bestow. Now here we said, as a result, no great gifts remain to bestow on humans. Now bestow has a similar meaning. To bestow something on someone means to give or present it to them, especially when we talk about an award or an honor or something that we use bestow with. It's a better word to use in these contexts than simply give. And now for the next word, excessive. Now here, after Prometheus gave man fire and made man erect just like the gods, Zeus felt that Prometheus had been excessively generous to man in giving him fire. Especially the fire incident got Zeus mad. He thought that Prometheus had been excessively generous. What is the meaning of excessive? By the way, it is EXCESSIVE. And here, obviously, because we used it as an adverb, so it has an ly at the end. What is the meaning of excessive? If you describe the amount or level of something as excessive, you disapprove of it because it is more or higher than is necessary or reasonable. Excessive. So, of course, here, Zeus thought it was too much. You gave man too much. Soon they will be just like us, just like the gods. And that is unacceptable. Because of that, Zeus retaliated against this maneuver by creating Pandora. Now here we have two words. Zeus retaliate, R-E-T-A-L-I-A-T-E, retaliate. If you retaliate when someone harms or annoys you, you do something which harms or annoys them in return. And that's exactly what Zeus did. He retaliated against this maneuver. Now, maneuver is M-A-N-E-U-V-E-R. Maneuver. What is the meaning of maneuver? Now, if you maneuver a situation, you change it in a clever and skillful way so that you can benefit from it. That is the meaning of maneuver. And maneuver here obviously is used as a noun because maneuver itself can be used as a verb or as a noun. The same spelling for both. And now for the next word, befall. Now, we talked about Pandora's box and all the evils that could befall humans that were in Pandora's box. Now, befall, what does that mean? Befall simply means to happen to somebody, but we usually talk about something bad. If something bad or unlucky befalls you, it happens to you. So, befall simply happens, but remember, we usually use it to talk about bad things, not good things. And the final word for today is consolation. 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 And let's see how we use it in context. We said, still today, hope remains humans' consolation amidst all the sufferings they must endure. Consolation can be used to refer to a person or a thing that is a source of comfort in a time of suffering, grief, or disappointment. And that is exactly what hope is. Now, with this word, we come to the end of today's episode, but remember that you can find a lot more on our website, EnglishPlusPodcast.com. You can find the link in the description of the episode. And don't forget to support English Plus on Patreon. You can also find the link in the description of the episode. Now, with that being said, this is your host, Danny. I would like to thank you very much for listening to another episode from English Plus Podcast. I will see you next time.